Cardinals, Falcons, Ravens, Browns, Raiders, Dolphins, Giants, Titans, and now the Steelers. Gerry Dulac covers the Steelers for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and he joins us now. How did we get here, Gerry?
You know, Dan, it's been evolving, of course, and I think the final straw was just another one and done in the postseason. That's 9 times in Mike Tomlin's career. That ties Marty Schottenheimer, who's long remembered for all the one and dones, with that dubious record. And 5 times in the playoffs the last 6 years. I mean, obviously, people around here think the sky is falling because they haven't won a playoff game, and to them, I understand why. But it's just it's kind of the same scene every year. Get in the postseason, and then not only get eliminated, but they're really. I know the Texans scored 2 touchdowns in the last 4 minutes, but the games are never really competitive. And Dan, people always say you don't make change for the sake of change, and the Steelers didn't make this change. Mike Tomlin decided to step down, but it was time to make a change just for the sake of change. You couldn't continue if your ownership. I don't know how you could have just sat there and watched the same old thing happen again. And, Mike Tomlin made the decision for them.
Do you think it was completely his decision here?
I'm still trying to get to the bottom of that, Dan, because I don't always think that's the case. But I will say this. I have been told from the top that the Steelers retain his rights, and that would mean that he stepped down, that they didn't fire him. That would be a different scenario. So I'm going to go on that with the idea that he did step down, and from everybody I heard, including some of the players, that seems to be the case. I don't think they told him, "Look, we'll let you, we want you out, but we'll let you step down." I don't think that's the case, but I'm still open to the possibility.
So what's next for Tomlin?
I don't know. Dan, everybody wants to think that, he's perfect for TV and that's where he's going to go. Look, he and I don't sit down and have those discussions, but I've never gotten the indication that that's something on his radar. And I don't know if he wants to continue coaching. That's what I'm going to, obviously find out here in the next couple of days. I don't know what his plans are because I haven't had a chance to talk to him. But Mike Tomlin's a football junkie, and I would expect him to, want to go coach again. But I guess we're going to find out. 19 years in one place, let's face it, a long time. And I never got any sense that he was burned out. I never thought that at all. And I think he looked at kind of the landscape and the environment of what was going on here. And, I'm not going to sit here and say he stepped down for the better good of the franchise or maybe the better good of his reputation. I don't know. But I think he could feel and sense and see what was going on, from the fan base to everything else, and just probably thought, you know what, it's time to step away.
What's next for the Steelers?
Well, obviously their history of hiring head coaches has been pretty good, and they haven't had to do it in a while, 19 years. When you look at the last 3 hires, all young defensive-minded coaches, I would expect the same to happen despite the way we see the NFL being played these days. I would imagine they'll follow the same template. I think they'll move quickly. I'm not going to do it by the end of the week. But I would imagine that's the direction they are going to go. And I will tell you, when Bill Cowher stepped down after the 2006 season, the Steelers retained a number of his assistants from the staff, including Bruce Arians, Dick LeBeau, Keith Butler. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but that's one thing the Rooneys do. They don't let a coach come in and start picking his entire staff and his training staff and the medical staff and the secretaries and the PR staff. The Steelers say, hey, this is what you got, and you work around that. And so we'll see how it plays out. I would expect a lot of that, to still be the same.
Aaron Rodgers' future.
I think if Mike Tomlin stayed, I think they would have welcomed him back to a degree. But I will say this, Dan, whether he was coming back or not, it wasn't going to change what they want to do, intend to do in the draft. And I'm not saying they will do it because we'll see how it plays out. But their intention is to find a quarterback that they can build on for the next 10, 12, 15 years, hopefully. And so whether Aaron Rodgers comes back or not, that plan doesn't change.
I know that it falls on Mike Tomlin, but did front office help build a team that could challenge for a Super Bowl?
I don't think there's any question that their general manager Omar Khan was very aggressive the last 2 years, even the last three, but especially the last two, in trying to get the pieces to to make a potential run. But the first step was winning a playoff game, and that didn't happen. And so they also brought in a number of 30-plus veterans, and that didn't work. Then I don't know that you stick with the same personnel and you start to make some changes again. And at some point, the Steelers, Dan, never used the word rebuild.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're going to do that, but they've done it kind of piecemeal. And I got a sense this one might be a little bit of a bigger overhaul.
Yeah, because they're not bad enough to get better by having that high draft pick. Like you're kind of in the 20s. And that could be no man's land if you're a 9-8, 10-7 team.
Yeah, when you think of where they've had to draft, now they've traded up a couple times to get up to 16 to get an offensive lineman. But when you think about where they have had to draft and the consistent success, 5 times in a postseason in the last 6 years, they haven't been able to hit that home run with a number one pick. And to me, that's what makes every draft. I think their drafts have been solid, but they haven't had that Pro Bowl elite type of player. And, you have to go back to TJ Watt to find that guy. And I think that's where they need, and they know it. They know those first 5 picks, first 8 picks are where first 5, especially where you find those elite players. First 8 to 10 is where you find maybe the Pro Bowl players. And then you keep your fingers crossed that maybe you land somebody. But they haven't had that guy, and that's what they need, and they know it. That's what they need to go and try and do.
Anybody untouchable on the roster, in your opinion?
No. I don't think. DK Metcalf is. I don't think, despite that suspension, what some people want to think, he's coming back. Cam Hayward's going to be 37, but I will tell you, Dan, I don't think anybody is untouchable. Their right tackle, Troy Fontano, maybe some of their offensive linemen, but otherwise, any of the other guys, no.
Thanks again. I know you're busy. We appreciate your
Dan.
time.
Well, always enjoy being with you.
Gerry Dulac covers the Steelers for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, also part of the Steelers radio network.